Hey, how's everybody doing today? Just out running a few errands. Thought I'd make a little video. Last video I made talked about the million militia muster on January 16th, but I guess it's looking like now there's going to be a huge demonstration in DC on January 6th, and I will certainly be there along with quite a few of my friends and fellow patriots, and hope you can make it as well. President Trump has promised us it's going to be wild. So I'm not sure what exactly is going to happen there. Could be anything from United States Marine Corps landing at the Capitol to make some arrests. Could be Donald Trump being named the president through the refusal to accept the fraudulent electoral votes that are being foisted upon the country by states like Georgia, Arizona, Michigan, Wisconsin. I mean, the fraud becomes more and more evident every day. Giuliani just made a video, Rudy Giuliani's Common Sense, on YouTube. That is a darn good video. For anybody who asks you, oh, where's the proof? It's like the proof is right there if you actually want to see it. There's plenty of it. Give me 1 second, guys. I'll make this turn here. So anyway, I'm pretty excited about January 6th. I think a lot of 3%ers are going to be there armed, which is against the law in DC, which is an unconstitutional law. Therefore, it's not even a law that we're not allowed to carry our firearms. If there's ever a place where we should be able to carry our firearms, it's Washington, D.C., which, of course, is the center of our federal government. Because, as you well know, it's clearly stated in the Declaration of Independence, and it's really just it's self-evident that we as a people have a right at any moment that we feel as if we are not being governed legitimately, fairly, and in helping us to promote our pursuit of life, liberty, and happiness and tranquility across our nation. I think most people would agree that this current government is just riddled with corruption, Democrats and Republicans. And I think the average American, at least 80 million or so of us, have had enough of that and are fed up and expect some serious changes to take place. And, I've kind of been a big believer that, although you can support Donald Trump, it's like nobody is going to rescue us but ourselves. We're the ones who need to step up. And I said this in my last video. I think when we do step up, that some magical things will happen. I could speculate on a lot of those things, but I do believe in the power of the collective consciousness of humanity. And now enough of us are absolutely fed up with this corrupted leadership, and it's just so blatant in our face. We saw it in the proposal or the passage of the COVID stimulus bill, where they're giving $10 million to Pakistan for gender studies and $600 to Americans. It's just like throwing us a crumb. Oops, it's so disgusting. They're supremely arrogant towards us, and I don't think they have a healthy fear of us, and they need to, because we are the people who are in charge. We are in charge, not these corrupted Congress people, career Congress people. I'd be all for on January 6th, if the Marines aren't going to evict the Congress, then I think it would be in order for we the people to do that, and hopefully without firing a shot, and just tell them all, go home. Your services are no longer needed, and call for special elections. And, I don't see where that's unreasonable or, unfathomable. Unrealistic either, because heck, half of those probably elected in the last election were elected fraudulently, with what we've seen, the evidence with the Dominion voting machines and just the huge widespread voter fraud on just a systemic level, brought to you by the Democrat Party and supported by the spineless weasels, who they're just a different wing of the same bird, the Republicans. That's why they're not objecting to to this fraud that's been perpetrated against the American people, because they're all part of it, and they all need to go. They really do. There's an exception, I think, of a few of them, but that's far and few between, and I think we'd just be better off starting over. And the first order of business would be to put in place term limits of only 2 terms, to completely revamp campaign financing and make campaign financing public, and no donations from corporations or lobbyists absolutely allowed to politicians election their campaign coffers, and have it some sort of I don't want to say a parliamentary system, but I think we need to get rid of the Democrat and Republican Party and start over with that. I've never liked the 2-party system. I don't really want a parliamentary system, but perhaps there's somewhere in between where if you're not a member of one of these 2 clubs that are really one of the same, then none of your ideas can ever come to the forefront and even be voted on, much less implemented into law. I'm thinking something along the lines of, we might have 50 people who run for congressional office, and you do videos online, and the constituents in that district kind of vote on an ongoing basis, on a primary basis, if you will, as to who they want to continue to see in that race for that particular congressional seat or senatorial seat. And funds would be allocated, public funds would be allocated equally on different levels. Let's say when there's 5 left, they get X amount of funds. And, frankly, in this day and age, I don't think we need to have a whole lot of campaign funds going to politicians, because really what they equate to are bribes. And I don't think we need to see these stupid commercials ad nauseum over and over on YouTube or on TV. Let's have a forum where politicians can lay out their platforms, and on a video basis. They could have town halls with Zooms or Skype meetings, whatever it may be. But I think we really need to change the entire way in which we approach political offices. And again, go back to the day of the Founding Fathers, when it was a privilege to serve the people, your constituents in your district, and not a career move, which it seems to be for so many these days. And you got scumbags like Mitch McConnell who are now showing their true colors. They're just part of the swamp with an R behind their name. That's why they don't really ever seriously oppose this corruption. They just go through all the bullshit machinations, pretending they're doing their job, but they don't do their job. They don't represent we the people. They represent the puppet masters, the Luciferian overlords, who have been running this world for a very long time, but their reign is over. And I think it's going to be decisively seen to be over on January 6th, when I believe at least 1 million, quite possibly millions of Americans converge on Washington, D.C. And I see President Trump, who was duly elected to a second term, being verified by the Congress as our next duly elected president, who is to be sworn in on January 20th. Because frankly, if that doesn't happen, all hell's going to break loose. Joe Biden is not going to be sworn in as the president of the United States peacefully, and he will not remain the president of the United States if they do happen to swear him in somewhere like at Camp David or in some secure location, which is the only place they'd be able to get away with it. Because there's just too many of us who see the fraud. We know that the majority of American voters voted for Donald Trump, and we're not going to allow our votes to be eliminated, to be discounted, to be diluted by criminals. It's just not going to happen. So, anyways, guys, mark your calendars. Yeah, it's a Wednesday. But you know what? There's probably never been a more important demonstration in your life than what's going to go down on January 6th in Washington, D.C. And I think you ought to listen to Donald Trump. I'm not sure what's going to happen. I have some speculative theories when he says it's going to be wild. But one reason it's going to be wild is you're going to see tens of thousands of armed, peaceful, yet armed 3%ers and constitutional militia men and women who are fed up and had enough. And we're going to show our power, and we're going to have peace from a position of power, because our force is going to be overwhelming. And even if the corrupted politicians in Washington were to order their police forces to attempt to disarm us, the police forces, I think, would clearly see that they want to go home to their families that day, and they wouldn't engage in such thing. And besides, most of them are on our side anyway. So anyways, guys, mark your calendars. For now, forget about January 16th. This is now, my understanding, being called the Million Militia March is what I'm seeing, which is different from my Million Militia Muster on the Virginia side of the bridge. My understanding is there's going to be a couple hundred of us gathering in Richmond at the Trader Joe's shopping center, Stony Point Shopping Center off of Huguenot Road at about 8:30 a.m. on Wednesday, the January the 6th. So if you're in the area and you want a caravan up there, especially if you plan on open carrying in Washington, D.C., I think it'd be a wise idea to do that in large numbers as opposed to allowing any law enforcement officers who don't want to respect the Constitution to pick us off in small groups or individually. So anyway, we'll see you January 6th. Love you all, patriots. Remember that you know the universe, it really is a democracy, and our collective consciousness shapes the future, and what we want to happen will happen if enough of us put our thoughts and intentions towards that. And I think that's exactly what's happening now, and that's really what the Great Awakening is all about. And that's why you're not seeing Q post anymore, because now it's our turn. Now we've been shown enough. The American people have been shown enough. The world's been shown enough. The world is watching us, and it's now our turn and our time to step up and save ourselves and save our constitutional republic, because nobody's going to do it but us. All right, guys, I love y'all. Peace out. Have a good one. Bye.